Now, residents of Tshwane are still waiting to hear who will be mayor, while former Mayor Cilliers Brink believes he still stands a chance. Action SA says its preferred candidate is Dr Nasiphi Moya. Let's speak now to Herman Mashaba, Action SA leader, who's joining us live now. Mr. Mashaba, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. Are the people of Tshwane any closer to knowing who will be their new mayor?
Absolutely. I think, as you are aware, by the laws of our country, we have 14 days to install a new mayor, and I'm confident that we will actually meet that deadline and actually do it before that deadline. We just really want, and I really appeal to the residents of Tshwane to really give us some space to really have these serious negotiations. These are not really small matters, as you've rightfully indicated. When I started the discussions with the ANC about 3 or 4 weeks ago, obviously, in principles, I suggested Dr. Moya to them, and obviously, it's something that was not really formal at the time, but we still really maintain as Section SA, we are going to fill the Dr. Moya, and obviously, if the ANC, we meet with them in the next day or so, we'll see what they come out with, and take it from there. I think these are not the kind of negotiations one can carry them out in public, because they are very sensitive negotiations that we need to ensure that whoever is going to be the mayor of the city of Tshwane must be someone who's going to serve the residents.
I know you say this was informal, but when you just threw the name out there, what was the response like?
Well, I think from the ANC at the time, they had absolutely no problem whatsoever. But obviously, at the time, they wanted us to really get involved in serious negotiations. But it was before Action SA could carry out our review process. I wanted and I requested the ANC to give me the chance to consult our structures before we can actually formalize anything. And then on my return from overseas 2 weeks ago, I made the announcement that I've got the mandate from our structures. However, at the time, the ANC was dealing with their own internal matters, including threats from the DA as well, which obviously affected us finalizing the negotiations sooner rather than later. But I think we are on course. We will, without any doubt, meet the deadline as prescribed by the laws of our country.
So how does it play out if the ANC fields their own person? Have you decided on how that's going to be, you and your structures? Will you be backing this particular candidate?
Well, I think if we're not going to approach this serious negotiations with arrogance. One thing I've learned throughout my life, if you want successful negotiations, have an open mind. If someone gives you a better option than yours, I think it would be completely and totally irresponsible for us to reject anything better than what we had in mind. So, yeah, we've got an open mind. If they present someone better than Dr. Moya, we're happy to listen.
And if they don't?
If they don't, if they don't, that means all of us are going to agree on Dr. Moya.
And if you don't?
If we don't, why do you think we will not really reach?
I'm putting scenarios here which are a possibility that maybe you may put Dr. Moya and then they don't agree, and maybe they put a candidate and you don't agree with that particular candidate, that it could be somebody that's better than Dr. Moya. So if you don't find one another, what happens?
Well, I think it would be irresponsible. Any human being who'd really carry out such negotiations with a journalist on a platform like this, that person negotiating on behalf of all the parties, that person would really be irresponsible. And I'm not an irresponsible person. Therefore, if you'd really respect the fact that allow us as the ANC and Action SA to carry out these negotiations. You can imagine, you're not a third party in this negotiation.
I'm not, but you run a public political party, and members of the public who voted for you want to know.
Yes, absolutely. That's the reason why members of our party, the public, is actually respecting this process. And I can tell you, the actioners, ANC members, members of the public, the residents, I'm telling you, they respect this process and the sensitivity of this matter. They would actually, honestly, I don't expect them to blame me if I act in a manner inconsistent with good faith negotiations, because that would really be irresponsible negotiations.
And I'm keen to hear what your take is on this one, because it still comes up most of the time. Even last week, I was in conversation with an analyst who mentioned this issue again, that you do have voters who voted for you as Action SA, who were voting for you based on the fact that you had been saying that you will never work with the ANC. It was also part of the clause there when you were in agreement there with the different political parties on the Moonshot Pact. What do you say to someone who's watching tonight who says, I was your voter, I voted for you based on this, but here you are?
Well, it is really very interesting. Let me really give you another scenario of practically what the voters have said to us, all of us, and what we said on the 28th of May 2024. And you look at currently this grand coalition. You know, as political parties, we carry out the mandate of the voters. The voters said, we are putting you in a new dispensation and you've got to act accordingly. So I don't really believe that voters out there expect Action SA to be an exception. They expect us to cooperate with other parties to serve them, because we do not have the outright majority. No one has got outright majority in the city of Tshwane to govern on their own or be arrogant in that respect.
I remember, though, speaking to Michael Beaumont just after the GNU was formed, and he was saying that Action SA wants to be outside and ensure that there's an effective oversight body that is going to ensure that those who are in government actually do, do what they have promised, and they fulfill all the promises to the voters, though.
Exactly, that's really it was our position at the time. But then in the process, then it emerged, and with evidence of the DA national leadership negotiating with the ANC to kick us out of Tshwane. And Action SA has got the full constitutional God-given right to defend ourselves. We were put in reacting to the current prevailing circumstances. We are not the kind of people who are going to sit in a house like an abused the partner, where you wait until the partner kills you, you come out as a corpse. We have got a fullest right when the DA are the ones who triggered us to ensure that we proactively act to protect ourselves.
So it's truly over between you and the Democratic Alliance? Is it over, like, completely?
Yeah, absolutely.
No chance in the future of ever working together?
Well, no, we're not ever. Right now in the city of Tshwane, they can forget about getting Action SA to bring back Cilliers Brink. And will we work with them in Kuruman or whatever in Pampilstad one day? One can really never say. But never say no. But at the end of the day, right now, I can confirm categorically that Action SA will not work and bring back Cilliers Brink. That can be guaranteed. When we vote for the new mayor, Cilliers Brink can forget about getting a single vote from Action SA councillors.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mashaba, for your time. And as you say, I'm not a third party, but I do wish to be a fly on the wall to see how this one unfolds, because certainly it does appear to see that, to be that you are the kingmaker now. I suppose we can assume that, right?
No. Well, I think, look, the reason why we even had to really entertain the ANC, we personally, me, I'd already taken a view that with the DA wanting to stab us at the back, and I had to prove it first to our voters and our constituents. I can tell you, by the time we went on our review process, our Gauteng PEC, They were even against us carrying out this 2-week, 3-week process that says, no, get out of this abusive relationship now. When we went to Tshwane REC, we went to our caucus in Tshwane and said, get out yesterday. So I think you can imagine the extent of the hate of actioners. So therefore, it is for that reason I'm saying to you, come whatever day in another week or so, when we go out and vote, DA can forget about getting Action SA vote. And absolutely for you as a journalist, I expect you to interrogate us on this matter. So it is within your right, and that is what makes South Africa a great country to live in.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall, certainly, as the negotiations are continuing. Let me thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. That was Herman Mashaba, leader of Action SA there. You heard for yourself. It's anybody's guess how this one is going to go, but do rest assured we will keep you updated.